A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's Boat Life adventure and hosting our online shop, which helps keep our beautiful sailboat Penelope afloat.
All right, so today we are on a mission to figure out
anchoring.
So a couple of months ago, we bought this 35-foot Hallberg Rossi without knowing a thing about sailing. But over the course of the summer, we've been teaching ourselves how to sail, how to navigate coastal waters, pick up moorings, maintain a diesel engine, and now we've decided it's time to learn how to anchor.
We spent a week at Cuddy Hunk for my birthday, and it was beautiful, but we were on a mooring the whole time, so it was very expensive. And now we need to figure out how to anchor so we can save some money and get to nicer places.
I'm very excited. I feel like the thing about anchoring that is something I've been looking forward to is that I feel like it opens up so many more options for us, and it's like this summer we were just learning how to do everything. So having the mooring like all summer was really nice and like just a good safety net. But like at some point moving forward, we will be without a mooring and just need to anchor every night. So it's definitely a skill that we have been putting off because there's been a lot of other projects and things to learn, but I feel like we are ready.
And willing.
That's our destination.
Land ho, Captain! We're headed to our first anchorage. I think it's a sandy bottom, like 20 feet of water, maybe 10. What does the chart say, Captain?
So I think we'll be able to anchor in 10 feet of water, but it's going to be a little unnerving because we have to go quite close to the beach because it's very deep by the beach.
There's also quite a few boats already at the anchorage.
Thank you.
All right, sails are down. We can get ready to anchor.
We are about to pull into our first anchorage ever, and there is one boat in there, but the one that we had planned to go to looked kind of crowded, so we switched our plan, and now we are going to one that looks exactly the same but less crowded.
By which you mean one boat?
There's one boat, and it is a tiny little boat, and it's not where we're trying to go, and still 50 feet of water. I think it's just so unnerving with anchoring. You have to like go where it's shallow, and it's like we try to avoid shallow areas normally, and so it should be interesting, but I think we can do it. Should I go reverse a little?
Yeah.
I moved the dinghy so that the engine wouldn't get caught in the painter, and Lou is up at the front. We are mid-anchoring. I think Lou is gonna lower the chain a bit more, and then I'm gonna reverse, and then hopefully the anchor will stick.
Engine is off. Penelope is at anchor. Yeah, we'll see. Keep a close eye on it.
Yeah, so we need to find like those points,
Yeah.
you know, and then you see if you're shifting amongst those points.
Why don't you set a GPS point now on the...
Oh, smart.
So we don't have all of our proper tackle yet. You're supposed to have like a...
Snubber.
which attaches to the anchor rod, and then you don't put any strain on your beautiful windlass, but we don't have that thing yet, so this is just a day anchor.
So this line we are going to use as our snubber, which I think is what it's called, and basically it takes the tension off of the windlass, and so you thread it through the anchor line and then put it on a cleat, and then the cleat takes the weight of the anchor so that it's not all on your windlass.
One day we'll get a proper one.
Is this not proper?
No, I think it's supposed to have like a hook.
That was good teamwork, Lou. We're on anchor.
We are on anchor.
Wow. Should I enjoy my tea now?
Yeah.
We can go on a walk on the beach. Do we trust the anchor?
No, not that much.
Not yet, right?
No.
Okay, I'm setting the anchor to 50 feet. The anchor alarm, it's on. So the anchor drag alarm is going off again, so I guess 50 is too close. So I'm gonna switch it to 100 because it really doesn't look like we're dragging. We kind of like triangulated our spot between like rocks on either shore and this buoy like next to us, so I think it doesn't feel like we're moving. Do you think so, Lou?
No.
So let's move it to 100. Stop that. Enter 100. It's just crazy to think of like, let me know if we move 100 feet. It feels so far, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that's the way you do it because you're moving on that anchor chain.
Yeah.
And how much chain do you think we put out?
I think we did like 100 feet.
That much?
Yeah.
And we're still in 20.7 feet of water and 20.8.
Maybe we did like 80 or 90 feet.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting ready to leave our first anchorage. We haven't dragged it all, even though the alarm went off a couple times, but I think we just set it a little too low. And now we are going to sail all the way across, I think it's like 8 nautical miles, and try out anchoring in a new spot, because really we just need to practice anchoring a bunch. All right.
That was actually really fun, Lou.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really peaceful and calm, and I feel like, yeah, we probably could have gone closer to the beach, but it was fine, like, staying further out, because it's not like we needed to go in. But it was definitely, like, rollier because we didn't go in more, you know?
Yeah.
But I think the jib needs... Thank you. Okay, so we're headed in for our second anchorage of the day, but the wind is coming towards the beach on this one, so that's not ideal, and it's very rolly. So we're not like quite sure if this one's gonna work. We're gonna try. I'm gonna do like a big U-turn. So we like come in and then come back and point into the wind again so we can drop the anchor, but we just need to make sure that we are doing like dropping the anchor in a place that allows us to let out enough chain that we don't end up like beaching ourselves. Because I think you're supposed to do like the leeward side of an island or something like that. But this is where we're gonna try. I think it should be totally fine for just sitting on the anchor for an hour. And it's good to try anchoring in different conditions because like that's the whole point of what we're trying to figure out and see how Penelope does and how we fare. But it's definitely gonna be a bit trickier than our last one. But you think we should go for it, right?
It's very bumpy, Dana.
Yeah.
It's really bumpy up here.
What do you think?
I don't know. All right, so we've decided to abandon that anchorage. The wind is coming from exactly the wrong direction and it was like very, very bumpy at the bow. So I feel like the motion was just gonna like knock our anchor off and the water was pretty deep. So we're gonna go around the corner and see if we can find a better spot.
I think I need to do a little research on like what makes a good anchorage because that one was too exposed, so it was so rolly. So it's like better. I think it's like it's good for us to go and look and be like, oh, this isn't right, and just like trust our gut and go do something else. And it's like if we go to the other place and it's too crowded and we just go home, like that's still okay. Like we don't need to push it. We did anchor successfully once today, so I prefer just to like keep it on the safe side. Woo. Keep it on the safe side. And it's already 4 o'clock. So, you know, it's been a big day, but that was cool. And it's also like, it's interesting to go in.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, look, a beach. Okay, woo, let's leave.
We're in 17 feet of water. More reverse?
I think let's try reversing on it now.
Yep. More?
I think we're good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or you want one more to go?
Yeah, maybe just give it one more. I think we're good.
Woohoo!
We are on anchor.
Woo, good job. Yeah, we did it. Snubber round 2. So we just made it to our second anchorage, which was very exciting. I think we were both a little wiped and motored around like crazy. The jib got stuck. We had a difficult downwind sailing, but I successfully brought the main down, so that was another moment not captured. It's very hard to like learn and film at the same time, but I feel like we're like trying to switch jobs more. But right now, my job is to put an anchor alarm on this. So, menu, anchor alarm on. That was a bit much, right?
Yeah, that was exhausting. Beat.
It just like wouldn't let up.
Yeah.
I feel like every plan we made, we had to make a backup plan.
I think that's the way it goes when you're sailing. We actually had to use our backup plans for once.
Yeah.
We haven't moved a foot though, so I think we're good
Yeah.
on this anchor. We're just gonna have to keep practicing like week after week.
It's interesting when it's rolly, it feels like a little unnerving being on an anchor.
Yeah. It'll be funny like trying to sleep on anchor for the first time ever.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do night watch for like the first 3 times.
No one will need it.
I'm not gonna sleep like, unless somebody's looking, you know?
Yeah.
That was a long day. It's 5 o'clock now. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to put the microphone inside the cabin, right Lou? Is that good? So, it was a very long day. It's 5 o'clock. We left at 9. That was the longest we've been on the boat so far.
Yeah.
And we're not home yet, and this is probably wobbling too much for Lou to use.
Ready?
Okay, baby.
Let's do this.
So, just talk to me. I'm gonna get the engine going now.
Yeah.
And then just call out like if you need me to go forward or whatever.
Okay.
Seems like the anchor is going up no problem. It is quite a workout for Lou though. And we are bouncing around. It's so rolly today. This footage might even make you seasick. I don't know. Oh. Got mine.
All right, the anchor's up.
The anchor is up. So I am going to put us in forward and get us out of this place.
Well, we're learning how to anchor, babe.
I'm proud of us, Lou.
It was only 2 times today, but we'll get better.
I thought we did a pretty good job. I mean, we didn't drag on either of the anchors, so that was, I feel like, definitely like better than the opposite of that. But wow, I'm tired. It feels good to be going home. Though it's like funny to think of like in the reality, like this is home. You know, like the mooring isn't home, but for now it is. So that wraps up today. We just finished writing the captain's log, and I like to just take a second, write down all my notes from the sail, or when we do any projects related to the boat, write it all down and then have Lou read it to make sure that he agrees with like how I saw the day. And it's kind of fun because it's like, it gives you a chance to reflect on what went well and what didn't go well. And so a lot of the things that like don't go well, it's kind of hard to film them. So for example, like today when we took down the main, took down both of our sails, like Lou was at the helm and I was doing that, and it's like we didn't film that because it's like there's too much to focus on. And when I pulled in the jib, the 2 jib lines got tangled into each other, and also but the main came down really nicely, so that was good. Then Lou was at the helm for a lot of today when we were doing the downwind sailing, and like that was really tricky for us trying to figure out downwind sailing. So it's like I feel like it's nice with the captain's log to just like take a second and decompress and like figure out what you need to focus on for next time. Like we ran the engine for 2 hours about today, so that's good to know because we should check the oil and the fuel before we go out next time. So it's like, it's nice to have a little reminder and process everything that happened, because it's like we're learning so much. I feel like my brain is gonna explode, and we definitely need to make dinner ASAP. This is our potato cellar. But these onions make me cry. And these are safety goggles actually that we got because I want us to be more safe. These are from the farm stand, aren't they pretty?
This video was brought to you by Squarespace. We've been running our online store for almost an entire year now using Squarespace and couldn't be happier with the results. The Live Creatively ebook has sold over 2,500 copies to date and keeps chugging away month by month. which is an incredibly rewarding experience to see it working for us quietly in the background. If you'd like to launch your own online store, photography portfolio, or website, head to squarespace.com/wildweroam for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Thank you for cooking.
Very happy to cook. It's really nice. I hope everything actually cooks. Pressure cookers are funny.
Really hot.